Well, we got a new project in the garage. We're going to be doing a full restore, if we can, on this. I want to say, is it a 2002? I can't remember if it's an '02 or what. But this is my buddy's Kiwi. Hi, baby. This is my shop cat, Kiwi. Shop's a little bit of a mess right now, boys. We got a lot going on, but we're going to get her cleaned up this summer. MT09, sitting pretty as usual. Back to this. This is a YZ125 that I built last summer for a friend. It has a 144 big bore kit, and it's a pretty hot machine. It only runs clots through it. We did not build the bottom end. V-Force 3 reeds, standard air filter, and my buddy races the 250 open class on this. Nobody really has questioned him whether it's a big bore or not, so that's where we're at with it. But he brought it back to me saying that it doesn't want to run worth a darn. So we're going to do a full restore on it if we can. We're going to try to get it looking back to factory. I think I'm even going to try to touch up some of the paint. We're going to try to get him new grippies on the frame. See if we can maybe get him some new graphics. Yeah, just really clean up this bike. We got the stunt scooter back there. We got the Shadow 600. This is my wife's bike. She has not yet rode it on the street, but she's getting there. And then we have Chomp. If you guys have been following me for a little while, you know Chomp. Old Chomp is a 05, 06, 636 that was brutally ready to end its own life. Kiwi, please move out of the way, baby girl. Brutally ready to end its own life, and did so in a dramatic fashion. And then the build on the MT09, which, other than what it has now, it's just going to get some crash cages and stuff like that. But yeah, just wanted to update you guys on, just wanted to update you guys on what we got going on. We're going to hopefully do a couple videos on this thing. It's a pretty cool bike. It runs really good. It's a lot of fun to work on. I'm a two-stroke guy at heart, just am. Just kind of one of those things that I've been around a long time, and I really enjoy messing with. So, yep, there's a little update for you guys. Thank you for being here. This is Inky Ride Bikes. Have a blessed and beautiful day. What's going on, guys? Today we are going to be starting the build series that we had talked about in the previous little short, or it might be before this, I'm not sure. Either way, we're starting the build series on the YZ. It is going to be this motor here that we're going to be building. The lighting setup's pretty poor. I don't have power in the garage yet, but we have the YZ pretty much all the way torn down. We are going to be doing a lot of cleaning up, trying to make this bike just look as good as possible for the rider when it comes to season. Hopefully we can keep it cleaned up and keep it rolling good and get it going good throughout everything that we're doing this year. But we are doing a rebuild on this thing here, and the reason being is, let me put this out of the way. The reason being is with the big bore kit, it decided it wanted to eat some V-Force reeds. Unfortunately, the rider had not brought me the bike previous to him trying to ride it a couple of different times. He said it wouldn't start, so we went out, left it alone, tried to come back, started again. And in that process, let me get the flashlight here. The piston, I don't know if you guys can see that in there. Where's it at? Right there. Let's see if I can put a little arrow to it. Is chunks of plastic, and there is a copious amount of metal. You can see where we had to do the clearancing for the big bore kit and everything in there as well. But what we're going to do today is we're going to pull this thing apart. We're going to check the top end. Hopefully the piston is okay. Get the top end, the piston away from everything. And then we are going to start pulling the bottom end apart to split the cases. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of metal in the bottom end, and I would like to just get it all cleaned and get it out of there. This is going to be the first time splitting the cases on this motor, so hopefully it all goes well. So stay tuned, and we'll have some more stuff going for you here in a sec. Alrighty, where we're going to get started with this, let me get some more light in here. Where we're going to get started with this is we are going to pull this cover off here, there's usually 4 Allen bolts, but this motor is missing 1. And then that is going to give us access to the power valve. We're going to go ahead and pull that off, along with the head, using those 5 bolts there. So we're going to get that done, and we'll be right back. Alrighty. Now, once you've used your Allens, or whether you have 8mm bolts to remove your power valve cover there, you are going to also remove the head. So once you got those 2 things done, you want to make sure to put your acorns and your copper washers somewhere safe. There you have reveal access to the top of the piston. Here you can check, let me see if I can get this here. Let's try this actually. Boom. There we go. That might be a little bit better. Here you can check piston play. This one has a little bit, but I am worried about crank damage on this motor. And then you can also have access to the power valve rod. So to remove this power valve rod, there's usually an 8mm bolt here, and you're going to put something underneath there to pop that loose so it doesn't push the power valve down. It also gives you access to the last head bolt that you'll need. So what we're going to do next, we're going to pop that power valve rod loose. We're going to remove all of the jug bolts, and then we're going to remove the jug itself, check out the piston, get the piston off of the crank, and check what the crank looks like. And we'll be back. Alrighty, after you got all of your washers and nuts taken off, this one was missing a washer. It might be missing another now. Oh boy, hang on, never mind, saved it. This one can kind of be of a pain in the butt. What I do is I take a little magnet, just get on it and lift it up out of there. Remember to take those, put them in a safe place, and then you should just be able to grab a hold of your jug, gently lift, and pull the cylinder and all out. And then you take your cylinder and put it in a safe place. I am minimizing how much I am tearing this down at the moment, knowing that this engine will have to be torn down further. This will get further disassembled. That'll be in a later part of the video or in a different video itself. For now, I'm just focusing on the basic teardown. If you were rebuilding this engine, this could all be done within the bike. Just take the gas tank and everything else off, similar to the way that this bike is right now. You don't have to take the subcage off, but it is easier to just pull the subcage with the air box and all. Pull the carburetor up out of the way. You don't have to take it completely off, and then you should have enough access once you remove the radiators to pull the jug out. So if you were just rebuilding a bike, this would be perfect to do inside the frame. I personally am doing mostly a full resto on this bike, and it has some heavy crank damage. Like I said, it did eat some reeds, so there's the chewed up reeds. So this is going to come completely apart. But if you were just rebuilding, at this point, you would pull your little C-clip on the inside of your piston here, and we will do that here in just a second. So you got one C-clip on one side, one C-clip on the other, and I will show you what that looks like whenever you get it apart. Okay, also another little tip here. If you see on this side of the piston, there's not a little notch or anything. I am exposing the crap out of this, I'm sorry. It is kind of poor lighting, but we'll get a better situation soon. On this side, there's that little notch, that little divot right up in here. I'm gonna put a little arrow to it. That makes it easier for you to get your C-clip out. Here's what your C-clip looks like. It's just a little guy. But take your screwdriver. Let me see if I can get some light in here. Oh, that's not what we need. Okay, so just take your screwdriver and you get it up in that area, pull it out, and then I always kind of put my thumb right here and walk it out with the screwdriver so the C-clip doesn't go flying off. After you do that, this side is open, so you want to take your piston and kind of wiggle this. Ooh, yeah, bottom end's cooked. You want to take that and get you something that fits. I like to use a socket. Here's my 10mm. A 10mm usually works, and then you just gently push. Maybe a 10mm is not going to work. Give me just a second to find something. I'll show you how I do this. Okay, so what I'm actually using is just the end of this extension, and what you do is you set it on the other side of the wrist pin. I can do this with one hand mostly, and just kind of push and jiggle the piston gently This bike has obviously experienced a little bit of heat because it is being a pain in the rear. Usually they're not this hard. But you just push that wrist pin out. This pin here will come out. I'll show you that here in just a second, and the piston will lift off, but I need both hands to do it, so give me just a sec. Okay, all right, like I said, wrist pin, just take your extension, push it through there, boop, pop that out, and then it comes off the top of the crank. You will have this little bearing in here. Be very careful with this bearing because it is a needle bearing. It can come apart. I like to set mine in a safe place. And then I'm going to set the piston, which looks, I mean, it looks a little rough, but relatively okay. I mean, it does have a little bit of runtime on it, but not an excessive amount. So I think we'll be able to use this piston still. I'm a little unsure about why this wrist pin's so hot. It may have just got way too hot, but we will see. And then we get into the bottom end. The crank is not supposed to have that much play. So the crank bearing is more than likely out of this motor. And if you can see here, some of that debris and plastic that I was talking about that the motor is chewed up. So, yeah. I think that is going to be it for this video. Basically, if you were doing a full rebuild, you would then put your piston ring onto your new piston, making sure that the sharp side, because there's a sharp side and a soft side, making sure that your sharp side is up and that your gap is in your piston lock area there. There's a little place pre-dedicated on the piston. It's kind of there. It's hard to see. There we go. It's just a little notch. That's where your piston ring sits. Make sure that you have your piston oriented the correct way. There should be an arrow on the top. This one I'll have to clean up, make sure I'm putting it the right way. Put your piston back on, slide your, I guess, make sure your bearing is in there, in your crank, or your connecting rod. Put that back on there, slide your wrist pin back through. Don't forget your C-clip. And then you'd slide your jug back on, tighten everything back up, and you should be good to go. So hopefully that helps somebody. We will continue doing more, and obviously there'll be more series, and eventually a rebuild of this. So if you're having a hard time and you need something, just shoot a comment down below. I'll see if I can help you out. And if need be, I'll just make a quick short to help whoever needs and see if I can get you fixed up. Till then, this has been Inky. And thank you for watching. Have a blessed and beautiful day.